My very first horse was a little paint pony named Seymour. So, and after that, I wanted a bigger horse, and I believe that's when my dad brought home a horse that it was a POA, and he was a little bit bigger, and I was upset.
Thank you, Melissa. That was draw 15, number 2561, Yo Adrian and Melissa Constanza.
Good morning, Green Country. Thanks for dropping in on this episode of Mornings with Missy. I'm Missy Nash, and I am so thankful that you're here with us this morning. We want to take an opportunity right here at the top of the show to thank our sponsor, Reba's Buds and Blooms, located on Main Street, Henrietta. Be sure and drop in and see Amanda and Robert for all of your floral and gift needs. All right, everybody, I want to introduce you to Melissa Constanza. Melissa is she is a world champion cutting horse performer, sports woman. I don't know how we need to describe that, but today on this episode, I know I am personally going to learn something about your sport, and grab your cup of coffee and settle in, and you can learn along with us, because we've wanted to highlight the women of Green Country and all of the many aspects that there are. This is just another layer, and I'm welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
For joining us.
Thank you.
Tell me, Melissa, as we always do here in the show, we always do our cup of the week. So let's break the ice and share with me your cup.
So mine says, I love my dad, which if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't, have earned this title. I mean, it's what I learned from him as a kid. I've spent, hours and hours, out in the round pen with him, going to horse sales even. I mean, horse shows, like everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
dads definitely play a role.
Definitely.
I told you earlier, this is my opportunity to say this guy hanging on the wall back here is my favorite cowboy of all time. That's my daddy.
Yeah, you can't beat them.
They hold a special place.
They are.
So are you from this area? Did you grow up here?
Yes, I grew up out at the Twin Hills, Bald Hill area. Went to school out there. It's just it's now pre-K through 8th. It was kindergarten through 8th. We lived about 2 miles from the school, and so from there I graduated from Morris.
Okay.
And and just ended up back in
local homegrown girl.
Yes.
Well, how did you get into the horse world?
So my dad was a trainer. He came up here from Louisiana and went to horseshoeing school at Bud Beeston's in Sperry. And then from there, he was hired by a man named Harold Hudspeth, and everybody called him Huddy. That was a well-known trainer. So Dad went to work for him, and then him and my mom met at the Tulsa State Fair, and they ended up getting married. They moved back to Louisiana, and I was actually born down there, and they moved back up here because the horse market just wasn't the same, horse trainers, and came back up here and moved back into Sperry, Citation Farms, even at Jinx, like several different places my dad worked for, and then ended up buying land out at Twin Hills, and I think I was like 4 years old when we moved there, and my mom's still there. So my dad's passed away in 2018, but my mom's still there. She has a couple of mares and raises horses still, and so I mean I've just grown up with it. I don't know any different not to have a horse.
Well, I hear you. Those animals, they keep your parents. They keep you engaged, don't they? I know how my dad is.
Oh, definitely.
He's got those animals, and it just was never instilled in me in that way. I mean, I have a dog, but
I have several of those too.
But I know my dad. He can't stray too far from home because feels like he's got to be the one to take care of him.
We never went on a family vacation growing up. I mean, if we went somewhere, there was a horse trailer behind us. or we went, you know,
Yeah.
the only other place we'd have been is to Louisiana to see my family down
Yeah.
there. But other than that, like, we didn't take family vacations. Like, we went to horse shows every weekend.
Yeah, so you were in the saddle from a very early age.
Yes.
Do you remember those first?
My very
Times.
first horse was a little paint pony named Seymour. So, and after that, you know, I wanted a bigger horse, and I believe that's when my dad brought home a horse that it was a POA, and he was a little bit bigger, and I was upset because he wasn't a true big horse, and that's what I wanted. And so Dad brought that horse home, but he, old Chief and I, we had our little bouts, but I ended up, my next horse was an older horse that came from one of Dad's customers out in Enid, Silver, an old gray Gildan, which then he had raised all of their family. And then, so he was my horse, then he was my brother's. I ended up with another horse that was my uncle's that lived in Louisiana. That was his old rope horse. And then after that, it was just, you know, whatever we had around the house is kind of what I rode. So.
Did your dad just have a gift for?
He did. My dad was very
Training.
naturally talented. He could,
Make them do whatever.
yes, but he just had a true gift on getting a horse really broke in the face, where some people, I mean, they'll ride a horse, but they, you know, I'm going to kind of deviate here on the dive on the horse part. I mean, there's a difference in a horse. You can go ride one, but is he truly broke in the face? Give, you know, one-handed
expand
reining.
on that. What for those listening that, you know, like, what did you just say? Punched in the face? What, broke in the face?
Broke in the face,
Yeah,
like
no,
give. You know, bend, flex.
Where they are really submitting
Yes.
to the rider, to
Right.
the trainer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my dad was really good about, I mean, and people would send him ones that they were having trouble with. So, I mean, we had several that would come, then they'd go back home, and here they'd come again. So, but yeah, he was very talented.
Do you sometimes have to really, it's training the animal, but in some aspects, don't you need to train the handler?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, there's just different things, you know, that you have to learn as well. Yeah. So, and he gave lessons to his customers, you know, which they're called the amateurs, which amateur in the sense of that's what classes they showed, or the non-pros, and, you know, they would come over and Dad would give them lessons. And so, but I mean, we had horses from the very start. I mean, there were some weekends that we would leave and go to quarter horse shows, and the first events at the quarter horse shows then were roping. And so my dad roped. We had a little bit of everything, pleasure, the halter. We did all of that. And then the last class of the day into the night would be cutting. So there's times we'd leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, and not get home till 5 o'clock the next morning. So, because it was just a marathon, but it's good times, a lot of good memories.
Oh, I'm sure that there are, no doubt. So you brought your gorgeous
I did.
trophy
Yes.
with you. Tell me about this.
So I won this back at a World Show in November. You have to qualify. You either do it by a point system, like at the qualifying shows, you either earn points, or if you went to 4 shows, then you were eligible to show. So
Where did this competition take place?
Oklahoma City, that's where it's been for as long as I can remember. And so this was actually my first time to show at the World Show. I had shown at the Junior World, would have been the last time I showed in 1989. I won reserve on a horse that we had raised and my dad trained, and that was in Tulsa. They used to have the American Junior Quarter Horse Association World Show there. I think they've since called it like American Youth now or something, but so yeah, it was.
What prompted you to show after this number of years?
So I'd quit showing basically because, got married, had kids, and then my kids, I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, Mason and Avery, and they started playing sports.
Oh, enough said.
And so I went
Your
to,
time and money went there.
yeah, I mean, and they started playing t-ball, and then from there they both played college ball. So like last spring was literally the first year in 21 years that I had not been at a ball field.
So it was time for you to do
it's my time
something
again.
for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was my time again.
Yes. And what a great, healthy thing to do.
So I just went back to what I knew.
Yeah.
And I was still involved, still
Mm-hmm.
around the shows. I work, there's a big cutting that's at Tulsa every year in
Mm-hmm.
May. It's 15 days long generally. Sometimes it's a little bit longer, but I work out in the practice pen because the trainers can come, because most of them haul in, and so they can work their horses out in the practice pen. We have 3 pens of cattle and then 2 mechanical flags. We call them the flags, but it's mechanical cows, and they can come out there, and some of those guys bring up to 30 horses to the show, and because they're working and getting not only their horses there that they're showing, but also the ones that they're training, their 3-year-old coming to the futurity. And I just stay involved that way, and horse sales, and then raising some colts along with my parents. So
Well, for those that are involved in the horse world, more familiar with cutting and all of that, but for anyone that's watching that's just wanting to learn more about this, well, okay, everybody's been to a rodeo.
Right.
We're from Oklahoma. We've been to rodeos. We're familiar with the barrel racing and all of those sports of that nature. But cutting. So walk us through that, because this is a skill. You're honed in, and I mean it's agility. And tell us more about that.
And the cutting competition, it's 2.5 minutes, and you aren't allowed, the only time you're allowed to use to rein your horse is when you're sorting out your cow to cut, and then you have to drop your hand, and you're literally, relying on the horse, on the training, and using your feet. And
so using your feet to
guide
guide
the horse.
it. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a straight line across the arena, and you're just working that cow. You're keeping it from getting back to the herd. And
how many cows are there in the herd?
So it'll depend on how many's in your class. So there's generally 3.5 cows, sometimes 4, generally in a finals so if there's 12 in your class, then there's going to be 36, a minimum of 36 head in 36.
There. Okay, so everybody has a visual, and we may be showing some videos on the screen as well of you doing the cutting. And so it's you're given a number, or you're
not given a number.
How do you identify which?
So generally, you rely on your trainer to help you. They're watching the cattle for you while you're getting ready, and then sometimes you're sitting there with your trainer and you're watching them settle. So, and by settling the cattle, when they bring the herd in, they have to, because cattle are new to the arena, so there is a settler that rides around through settles, and it's anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes depending on how they're acting. And so you just watch, and then there's certain things, and each trainer looks for a little bit different. Is that one moving and rolling, keeping quiet? Is its head down? Like, how's it looking? Does it want to honor you by looking at you? So you generally have them picked out.
Yeah.
And then as they go along, the trainer will have a list that they keep a piece of paper. So if you're ever at a cutting and wondering why these men are writing on the piece of paper, well, they're identifying the cattle, and then they're watching as each person shows, and they're marking off ones that they have been used. And so then
you can't use them again.
they'll which the trainer I use now, his name is Ed Deaf Arena down in Gainesville, Texas. And so, it'll be like, okay, here's what we got. And there's some things that he says, and I'm like, okay, I hope I know which one he's talking about. So, but yeah.
And it is such an art. I mean, I just love watching those horses.
They're very athletic.
They're
very
so
athletic. And they're
athletic.
bred specifically to do that. I mean, over the years, the breeding has gotten, just more refined. And, I mean, it's just instinctively bred into them.
Yeah. And I mean, and you're doing this in a competition arena setting, but out on the farm, out on the ranch. I mean, the purpose of this would be to
Right, and that's
go
where
out.
that's where it started.
That's where it started.
Yes.
You're literally going out and you're cutting a specific
Yeah, it was sorting them
head
off,
from
because
the
generally
herd,
they're
so you
either
can
shipping or doctoring cattle,
medicate
and
or-
that's how
or
cutting originated.
nursing or,
Right.
whatever the case may be.
Yes.
Yeah, it's such a terrific
Yes.
thing to watch. It so is.
And it's fun.
So at the local rodeos that we have around here, those cutting competitions typically take place
Well, they're
sometimes
specifically
in the more. I know that down at the Jim Shoulders Arena, they'll do some of those type of competitions the day after or the morning of.
right. Generally, the only time you see a cutting at a rodeo now is at like the high school rodeos, and but everything else after that is specialized. So there's the quarter horse shows that you can go to, and not all of them have cutting anymore like they used to, and so they will literally just hold an AQHA cutting somewhere. So where I went and qualified was down in Wayne, Oklahoma at Circle C Arena, and I believe we worked the same cattle all 4 shows.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get qualified on the first show and didn't, have to go back. But
Well,
yeah.
that's
And
all
then-
so fascinating to me. I love that, and there is just something about being out there with the animals that's
yes,
true therapy too.
yes. And so all the other shows are National Cutting Horse Association, and about the closest one that we have here is going to be Ada or Carthage, and then Whitesboro, which I go to Whitesboro, Texas a lot, and that's where I show because Ed's right there at Gainesville, and so
lots of travel, lots of expense.
travel,
You
lots of
said
expense.
when you brought this in this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. It's bigger than I thought that it
Yes.
was going to be from the photo you had sent and shared, and you said it represented a lot of time, effort,
a lot
and
of time,
money.
Effort, dreams. At the World Show, they don't announce your scores, so you don't know. And I had actually had 2 runs that day. The first run didn't go as well. And I can remember Ed in the corner like, it's all right, you've got another run, you've got another run. And so when I was in the back warming up again and riding around, which Ed's daughter helps us a lot, Rietta, she's very instrumental in helping us get the horses ready. And I had asked her, I was like, will you ride? So Yo Adrian's her registered name, but her barn name's Harley. And I asked her, I was like, will you ride Harley around for me? And she's, of course. And so, and then she was like, I've, got her ready. And so when I got back on her and I was riding around, I just asked the good Lord, I'm like, just please let me do right by my mare. That's all I'm asking. Just let me do right by her. And we kind of had the talk too. I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, if you will
Do what
just
you're capable
settle
of.
in and be all right, then this will be it for you. Like, I'll take you home and it's all good, you know. And so
And she did it.
and she did it. And like I said, they didn't announce the scores. I knew that I had a good run. And then you just line up and they start calling numbers and your name. And so it got down to the last 3. And I remember thinking, oh, well, at least I'm, in the top 3.
Uh-huh.
And then, the third one's called, it wasn't me. Well, so the one left.
Then your heart's
I'm
really
like,
racing.
well, I either
isn't
got
it?
reserve or you know, but I actually thought I'd gotten reserve. So Tony Langdon, that also rides in our barn, which I've known Tony from when my dad, you know, being at shows with him, Tony had won it like 4 years in a row.
So it's just the two of you left
It's
there.
two of us left, and you know, Tony's like, well, you know, oh girl, you know, congratulations, whatever. I was like, oh Tony, I said, they're getting ready to call me, then they're going to call you.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like,
Okay,
you know,
maybe.
and so then they called Tony, and I was just shocked, like literally just shocked. So and
That
just,
had to
and
feel
super
so-
grateful. Yes,
So incredible.
yes.
And the class that you were in is the select class.
The select, so
Yeah.
that's based on age. For us that are over 50 now. So,
Yeah.
So it was just a class within a class,
Mm-hmm.
and when you qualify, so I was in the regular amateur class, and it didn't work out, but I came back in that run and won it. They give the same trophy, so
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah,
That's so awesome.
And then Ed, the trainer, actually he won, you know, as well that day. So it was a good.
It was a good run.
Day. Yes,
It
for
for sure
us.
is. Yo Adrian, your horse.
Adrian. Yes,
How old is she?
she's now 9. At the time, she was 8. She's by a stud called Metallic Cat, and I don't know, for all of y'all that watch Yellowstone, they had Metallic Cat on there, and he is the one he's the roan horse that they partner up on, and so yeah, she's a daughter of Metallic Cat out of a mare called Tanganilla. That's earner her as well, and producer, and I mean, she's a beautiful mare. So I'm just very lucky to have her. So she was actually a gift. So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
special.
yes.
That is a very special gift. Do you anticipate competing in the future?
Yes.
You
So
have
I'm planning on showing. I'm not going to show Harley anymore. I'm actually going to bring her home, and we're going to breed her, let her raise some babies, and then I have a stud colt that I'm going to start showing, and I'll actually show him for the first time next weekend. So in Ardmore.
Great.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, we will definitely be looking
Yeah,
forward
so
to
he's-
hearing the results of that.
Yes.
So this is not your full-time job?
No, which horses are full time, whether you want them
Sure.
to be or not. But
Yes.
I work at Walters Real Estate part time. Help Holly.
I've heard you have a real flair for decor.
I love
Are
it.
you the stager? Do you do their staging?
I try to help. You know, anybody that wants that type of help. You know. And we'll go off into the real estate side for a second, but you know, it's their personal items, and sometimes you have to just say, let's move those
Yeah,
for now.
yeah.
Let's at least do it for the pictures.
Yeah.
We can put them back.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the pictures, we just, you know, I suggest and I'll
Yeah.
help, and whether they want to do that or not, it's up to them, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm there for. And
Well, I definitely had to give you a shout out because
well, thank you. So I've got a couple of people that
Yeah.
I'm helping, you know, decorate some rooms and things.
personal,
for 'em.
just
Yes,
on a
so,
personal note. Yeah,
Yes,
I should
so
have you
I just really like it. So
come take a look at mine. I need some help.
anytime. So I love it. So, and I try to use what they already have instead of, you know, buying more. I mean,
Right.
you can always go buy more, but let's try to use
try
what
to-
you have.
yeah.
And save a little money
Yeah,
and
that's
go
wonderful.
from there. So
Melissa, thank you so much
right,
for
thank
dropping
you.
in here. This has been a real treat.
Thank you.
Hope you have enjoyed this as well and learned something maybe that you weren't anticipating. And meeting the women of Green Country. That's what this show is all about. So thank you so much
well,
for
thank
being
you
a
for
part
having
of it.
me. So
And thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time on Mornings with Missy.